Can you believe it's been almost 3.5 years since I reviewed the JBL Flip 6? Well, now they just released the JBL Flip 7, and we're going to check out all the new features here. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. This is the JBL Flip 6 right here. This is the JBL Flip 7. Sorry about that. I mean, can you blame me? They look almost identical. But regardless, let's jump into this. The JBL Flip 7. Let me just double check. Yep, Flip 7. All jokes aside, JBL found a design that they're happy with, and they're sticking to it. As you can see, it looks very, very similar to the previous JBL Flip 6. And if you saw my review on the JBL Flip 6, I mentioned that the 6 looked a lot like the Flip 5, with few aesthetic differences, and I feel like those aesthetic differences are even more minimal here. With just a quick glance, it's tough to tell these two apart. But if you look a little closer, you'll start to see those subtle differences. So let's talk about the design of the new JBL Flip 7. Just like with the JBL Flip 6 and the Flip 5, it's still wrapped in this pretty durable fabric mesh and really durable rubber bumpers that surround those dual passive radiators on each side. And if I bring in the Flip 6, you can see just how similar those passive radiators are. Really slight changes here. And one of those changes are now you'll see 4 rubberized feet on the Flip 7 versus just 3 on the Flip 6. And another one of those changes are the button layout. So check out the button layout on the Flip 7 versus the button layout on the Flip 6, and this is one of my favorite subtle changes on the Flip 7 here. I really like how they grouped the buttons together on the Flip 7, because if I bring in the Flip 6, you can see the 4 buttons right here, and then you have to rotate it about a quarter ways around just to get to the power and Bluetooth button. So I think this is one of the better aesthetic changes here, grouping together that button layout. Now you'll see the play pause button, track back and track forward right there on the bottom, and right above that you have the power button, the Bluetooth button, and the Auracast button. Auracast is one of the main changes from the Flip 6 to the Flip 7. No more party boost. It's now Auracast. And of course, if you have a bunch of speakers with the previous party boost, they will not connect to the new Auracast JBL speakers. And that could be a huge negative to anybody that's invested in JBL speakers in the past, because your old speakers will not connect to the new generation of JBL portable speakers. And that really sucks, because I loved pairing my Flip 6 with my Flip 5 because it all had party boost. And they sound great together. So unfortunately, if you have older JBL speakers with party boost, they will not connect with Auracast. So if you have a speaker like the JBL Go 4 right here, yeah, they will pair together. But if you want that stereo sound with the left and right channels, it has to be another JBL Flip 7. And JBL putting Auracast in all their new speakers is sort of a blessing in disguise, because it's sort of awesome. Auracast connects really quickly with each other. So a little bit later on in this video, I'll pair the Go 4 with the Flip 7 just to show you how fast it can be. Also, another change with the new Flip 7 is this new push lock system. That's right, this is compatible with other push lock accessories that JBL will be releasing in the future. But out of the box, it comes with this loop and a really cool carabiner right here. In fact, I prefer this carabiner over this loop. The carabiner just makes it a lot easier to attach to backpacks and things of that sort. But it's a super easy system. See this little button right here? All you have to do is just give it a press and it comes right out. And you can see how that locks into the speaker right there. And if you want to attach the carabiner, just click it in as so, locks into place. I like this. Also on the back, you'll have a small Flip 7 logo, a really terrible, in my opinion, battery life indicator. Basically the same battery life indicator that we saw on the Flip 6 and the Flip 5. I'm not the biggest fan of this style of battery life indicator. It just makes it really difficult to tell how much battery life you have left. Right next to that, you have your USB Type-C charging port with no rubber flap to protect from dust or dirt getting in there. But once again, we all should be used to that. And then right under that, you have a little rubber stopper, so when you have it in this orientation, it doesn't just roll all over the table. Oh, and before I move on, I mentioned that it comes with the carabiner and this loop. It also comes with a user manual right here and I don't know, some warranty information, but it does not come with a USB-C charging cable. I just wanted to mention that. I already mentioned the 2 passive radiators on each side. There's also 1 woofer inside and 1 tweeter. So that makes the JBL Flip 7 a mono speaker, just like we saw with the Flip 6 here. Alright, so let's go over the features of the Flip 7 in more detail. I mentioned the tweeter and the woofer here. The tweeter is now redesigned. It now has a dome shape, which according to JBL, gives the higher frequencies a crispier sound. Is that true? I don't know, maybe. It does sound a little bit better than my JBL Flip 6 at higher volumes, and that's without touching the new 7-band equalizer in the JBL Portable App, but I'll get to that app a little bit later on. But those transducers in the Flip 7 are exactly the same size as the Flip 6. The tweeters in the Flip 7 are 45 by 80 millimeters, exactly the same as the Flip 6. And the woofer is 16 millimeters in the Flip 7, exactly the same as the Flip 6. So even though they have a new domed tweeter, it's still the exact same size as the previous speaker. So now let's talk about the output of the Flip 7. It now has 25 watt RMS for the woofer and a 10 watt RMS tweeter versus a 20 watt RMS for the woofer and 10 watt RMS for the Flip 6. So that's only a 5 watt difference between these two speakers. Also, there's a slight difference in the dynamic frequency response. 60 to 20,000 hertz in the Flip 7 versus 63 to 20,000 hertz in the Flip 6. So yes, technically the Flip 7 has more range, but it's not by much. Also, they have the exact same battery built inside, a 3.6 volt, 4800 milliamp hour lithium polymer battery. Now, I was really surprised to see that because the Flip 7 now has about 2 to 4 hours more playtime than the Flip 6. That's right, the Flip 6 had about 12 hours of playtime, but the Flip 7 now has about 14 hours of playtime, but you can get 16 if you use their new playtime boost feature. You can find that feature in the app, but basically what it does is strip the music of all its depth. So because I don't like what Playtime Boost does to the sound quality, I don't use it. So I'm perfectly happy with the advertised 14 hours of playtime. But honestly, I think JBL is being a little stingy with that number because I easily got 14 hours of playtime with this speaker, listening to it at 50%. In fact, I still had about a quarter battery life left on this little battery life indicator. So that 14-hour advertised playtime by JBL, I think they're being a little stingy with those numbers. I think you'll get a little bit more than that, even without that terrible playtime boost feature, which I'm really not a big fan of, if you can't tell. Another upgrade with the Flip 7 is now it has Bluetooth 5.4 as opposed to Bluetooth 5.1. And of course, having the latest Bluetooth is going to give you more stability listening to music through your phone. I've been listening to this speaker on my side patio, which is a 60-foot long patio. And I had no drop off streaming music through my phone, just walking on that patio back and forth with a clear line of sight. The only time I lost connection was when I turned the corner and went into my garage. But that's normal with any Bluetooth speaker I have. Once you turn a corner, you have to be prepared to lose connection. Another cool feature here is the Flip 7 now has AI sound boost. And what does that mean? It means that it analyzes music in real time for maximum acoustic performance. And because of that, it's supposed to give the bass a more powerful and cleaner sound at max volume. And of course I tested this, and I can tell you that, yeah, you are getting slightly better bass with the JBL Flip 7 versus the JBL Flip 6 without that AI sound boost. Is it mind-blowingly different? No, but you can tell the difference while listening to these both side by side. And the Flip 7 now has lossless audio playback. So when you're directly plugged into a laptop or other audio devices via the USB-C charging port right here, the Flip 7 will be capable of lossless audio playback, but of course you have to have a lossless audio source. So if you're into that sort of thing, that'll be a positive, but for somebody like me, I just don't like having a direct connection to my portable speaker. Another upgrade is with the dust and waterproof rating. It's now IP68 versus IP67 with the previous Flip 6. The first 6 means they're both completely dustproof, but the second number is the waterproof rating, an 8 versus a 7. The 8 means it's submersible in up to 6 feet of water versus the 7 on the Flip 6, which means it's submersible in up to 3 feet of water for a half an hour. And you can see my water test here. Of course, it survived the water test, but I was more disappointed that JBL didn't make the Flip 7 float. It'll sink in water just like with the previous Flip 6. That just kind of sucks. But regardless, the Flip 7 does have a better IP rating. Now going back to the 4800 milliamp hour built-in battery that's charged with that USB-C port right there, you can charge this battery in about 2.5 hours, but what's disappointing is there's no quick charge system here. You think if a company would incorporate a quick charge system, it would be in a portable speaker. So unfortunately, no quick charge for the JBL Flip 7. And just like with the previous JBL Flip 6, there is no microphone here, so you cannot take calls through the Flip 7. That's not really a huge deal for me because I don't really like taking phone calls through my speaker, but I know a lot of you guys out there like doing that, so that could be a negative here. All right, now let's check out the JBL app. If I turn on the Flip 7 here, the app should recognize the speaker, and there we go, it does. Takes a few seconds to connect here, and there we go. So you can see a fairly simple layout right here, but I like this new layout. There's really nothing extra here to clutter the app up. It's just basically what you need. On the top, you have your equalizer. I like to keep it right here with the JBL signature preset. And there's 3 other presets here. You have chill, energetic, and vocal. And at the end here, you have custom. And I really like this custom feature because if you hit edit, you now have a 7-band equalizer versus when I first bought the JBL Flip 6, it only had a 3-band equalizer. 1 for low, 1 for mid, and 1 for high. So this gives you a lot more customization over your personal sound preference. But like I said, I like to put it right here in the JBL signature preset. Then if you go right down the list, it's really simple. You got your playtime boost right there to get you that extra 2 hours of runtime. I don't like this, so I keep it off. Right under that is your stereo grouping where you compare 2 Flip 7s together, and then some product information right under that. Now, as promised, I'm going to bring in the JBL Go 4 and turn them both on just to show you how fast Auracast works to pair these speakers together. Make sure they're both on. There we go. There we go again. Go to the app. And right there, so it shows both of those speakers. So if I hit this button right here on the bottom, it says add both speakers. And if I tap those on the bottom, paired. So right now I can start streaming music through both of these speakers, and it was just that fast and easy. All right, now let's do the sound test. I'm gonna start out with the volume test first though. I'll put the speaker about 3 feet from the microphone and play music at 25%, 50, 75, and 100% volume just so you can hear what that sounds like.
Try to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So shop so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up.
So the question now becomes, should you upgrade to the JBL Flip 7 if you already own a Flip 6? And for me, that's a tough one because if I have, say, I don't know, 10 JBL speakers all with Party Boost and they all connect together, Do I really want to give up that whole ecosystem just to upgrade to the Flip 7 and Auracast? You see what I'm saying? That's a tough call. So let's look at some of the reasons why you might want to upgrade. In my opinion, the Flip 7 does have slightly better sound than the Flip 6. It has a slightly deeper and more refined sound overall. Deeper lows and crispier mids and highs, in my opinion. That's just what I'm hearing. As I said earlier, the differences aren't earth-shattering, but there are slight differences. Especially now with that AI sound boost, it does make a slight difference, especially at those high volumes. If you're somebody that likes louder music, you're probably going to want to pick this up over the Flip 6. Plus, it's just a louder speaker overall with those 5 extra watts, and you're getting more playtime. 12 hours versus 14 hours, and 2 extra hours if you want to use that playtime boost. Don't use playtime boost. Plus a better IP rating, the ability to play lossless audio, Bluetooth 5.4 versus 5.1, and the JBL Portable App now gives you a 7-band equalizer here. And other slight differences which I prefer, such as the closer grouping of the buttons here versus the grouping on the JBL Flip 6. That's nothing major, but little things like that I appreciate. But I paid about $150 for the Flip 7, $149.95 versus what I paid for this brand new, which was $129.95. You can grab this right now on Amazon for about $99.95, about $100 right now. So you see what I'm saying? We keep going back and forth here like a teeter-totter. It just comes down to your personal preferences, I guess. And I say this a lot in my speaker reviews. If you have to have the latest in technology, it's going to be a no-brainer here. Get the Flip 7. But if you don't care about that and you're already heavily invested in the previous generation of JBL portable speakers, yes, the upgrades are nice here, but are you going to throw all these speakers away just to start all over again? Personally, I love my Flip 5 and my Flip 6 paired together, listening to it outside on my patio. But I only have those 2 speakers. I'm not super heavily invested. So I think even with these 2 together here, the 2 Auracast speakers, the Go 4 and the Flip 7, I'm happy I upgraded. I'm not having any regrets so far. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. What do you think of the JBL Flip 7? If you want to check it out for yourself, I will put links down below in my description box. But if you did enjoy this video, please give me that thumbs up. Please subscribe and go!